Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Unplayable Podcast. Josh Schonafinger here. Kane Richardson, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Back in studio. It's nice. It's comfortable. It's familiar. Got a nice tan, so it's good to be back.
Good to be back on the Gold Coast. Why don't we start with the weekly winner this week, mate? Who have you nominated as your best of the week?
Well, plenty going on as always, as we say every week, but I'm giving it to you, and I'm giving it to you because last week's pod, what did you say about Australia chasing?
I said that they should stop trying to do it.
And bat first.
Yeah.
And then next game, what happens?
Well, 400.
So the proof's in the pudding with that.
Oh.
I'm going to put it down to you.
Mate.
Finally, someone said change things up and look at what happens.
You can't nominate me.
I'm giving it to you. I reckon I've given you.
You've given it to me before.
Well, there you go. Stop doing great things. You're peaking. You're peaking in August.
Way too early, yeah.
And I know one of your breakout stars as well, which I'm sure we'll get to, has made runs again this week. So I'm worried about you. You're going to be flagging in October. I think you need to just pump the brakes, stop making so many calls and stop getting them all right. So
You're not the first person who's told me that, actually. So.
No, worthy weekly winner.
Oh, thank you, mate. Well, I wish I could give mine to you, but I'm not going to. Charlie Smith, he is a leg spinner for Nightcliff Cricket Club up in Darwin. He bowled to the Aussies in the nets when they were up there a couple of weeks ago. He had a little bit of a rough time. He copped one in the shin, copped it. I mean, he was bowling to Maxwell and David, so he had it pretty tough. But on the weekend, he took 7 wickets for his side in the first grade. And so a great result for Charlie Smith, an up-and-coming leggy from the Northern Territory.
Good on him. Teammates of mine, if the top end series, he wears shoes that Simon Helmet gave him that you would find in a dumpster. They're held together with tape and the spikes on them are non-existent. So maybe we could all chip in and get some new spikes for him, but they're obviously working. So good on Charlie.
Wow. Okay. There you go. And you can replace spikes, though, can't you? You don't have to stick to the original.
Yeah, it's a good point. But the sole is falling off the shoes, and he's using physio tape to keep them on. I think he's a bit of a badge of honor. He likes being a bit different. He's that kind of character. But if he's taken 7 furs, he's probably going to progress through the ranks. You need to look a bit more professional, Charlie. So sort it out.
Sort it out, mate. Okay. The Aussie men, they won the third ODI after amassing a massive 431 for 2, Richo. Unbelievable scenes up in Mackay. Travis Head, 142. Marsh, 100. And Cameron Green, 118 off only 55 rocks. It was a stunning display of hitting. And South Africa, they rested a lot of their big bowlers, but the guys that played, they had no answers to this onslaught.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who bowls, really. Anytime you can go over 8 and over 50 overs, an achievement. What was it like viewing, like in person? It must have just been.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular because while the Mackay ground is a little smaller than Cairns, which was a pretty large oval, there was definitely a shorter side to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of breeze behind them too. And so particularly Marsh and then Green really targeted that side and they backed their matchups. And the hitting was really, really clean. Like often you see these guys with the great bats that they've got, miscue and thick edge sixes, but a lot of these were bang out of the middle and it was really good to see.
Well, at least the viewers got their money's worth, didn't they, to turn up for what is a dead rubber, but to see 400, like I'm sure the kids will speak about that forever. And it just shows the intent that this Aussie team have. And most teams around the world in 50 over cricket, it's almost like a 20 over mindset. So when it comes off, and to your point again, if you do bat first in ODI cricket and start that well, it's pretty hard to lose a game. So, and then Mitch Marsh struck it under 100, I think, didn't he? So if you think if he, has a different day where he gets a few more out of the middle and strikes it, maybe 20 or 30 higher, all of a sudden you're looking at high 400s, aren't you? So it's a scary thought. Maybe that's not realistic, but I think it's a good show of what this Australian team's capable of moving forward to the next ODI showpiece, which they're building towards. And you look at Cam Green in that middle order now, all of a sudden, massive performance under his belt. The only shame is Mitch Owen didn't get to take part in the series. It would have been awesome to see him play a role at some point. So that's something that we get to look forward to next time they come out. So, I think everyone got something out of this series.
It was a fun little game within a game as well because the big screen there at Mackay had the projected total throughout the innings and, it was sort of hovering around 350-ish most of the innings. And then as Green and then Carey sort of lifted towards the end of the innings, it grew to 370 and then 390. And when it got to 400, people thought, 400 would be a great score. And then they ended up getting 431. So the acceleration was fantastic. I loved Green in particular, turning down the single with Alex Carey at the other end. He backed himself against Mr. Sammy and then hit 3 sixes in a row. I mean, that is the perfect example of looking at the matchup and just executing it perfectly.
Well, it's alpha because it's left arm spinner, isn't it?
Yeah.
To a right hand bat traditionally is not the matchup. It's usually the left hander. So he obviously was really fancying what he saw. But yeah, I mean, he's just again growing in stature, and then there's a bit of bowling to come for him to build back up. But what a player that he's going to grow into be. And yeah, his white ball stuff is improving now. And hopefully the only thing for him is hopefully you just stay injury free.
Yeah.
But if he's not bowling, I mean, pretty handy to have that in your top order that can strike at 200 in a one day and make 120. So yeah, great viewing. Everyone happy.
I mean, I was thinking about this after the series finished. Obviously, his bowling is so important to the test side, but when you look at these sort of results, is there a world where potentially he's just a pure batter in white ball cricket so that he can play those matches, and then when you get to the test, he's allowed to bowl? But I just can't see a world where he's bowling in every format and playing every format.
Yeah, possibly. I think, maybe he doesn't need to bowl 10. Like just having, like, say you're in the South African camp there, I reckon they would have loved their number 3 to be able to bowl some 140k seam ups even for a spell, maybe 4 overs just to change things up. So, but he's on the mend. He's had that surgery, so I think he'll those troubles will be behind him. But it'd be nice to have just the ability to bowl a spell through the middle. He's shown with the ball that he can change games as well. So yeah, nice problem to have.
So yeah, good series for Marsh, 250s, and then obviously this 100. And Travis Head, he had only scored 59 runs in the 5 innings leading into this, but things clicked for him, 142 off only 103 balls. Crazily, that is only his 3rd fastest 100 for Australia. He just knocks him when he's on, right? And he was great. A few big sixes over the scoreboard, and he made Mackay look very small.
He said to give his goatee a shout out. He said, he made 6 first, I think second ODI he made 6 and then 100. So he's averaging 74 with his goatee.
Yeah, I did notice it. Yeah, it's really prevalent.
He said to give it a plug. So if he's averaging 74 with it, maybe it'll stay. Maybe this will be the final chapter of travel. Not saying he's finishing, but for maybe the next 4 or 5 years, he runs a goatee. And that's what everyone remembers, that late career goatee for Travis Head, averaging 70, striking 120 in ODI cricket.
We'll measure his career at the end, pre-goatee and post-goatee. Yep. So, okay, let's keep an eye on that. Goatee watch will keep an eye on that. Cooper Connolly as well. 5 for 22. He sort of cleaned up the South African innings when, the game was finished, but he's finished with the best figures in ODI cricket by an Australian spinner of all time.
Yeah.
Brad Hogg, 5 for 32, and Shane Warne, 5 for 33. Sorry, guys. Cooper's the new main man. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that when I saw it. I thought maybe that was like by left armour or something. And I thought surely Warney got like a 6 for in a World Cup against someone. But that's a pretty nice thing to have on the resume. And you say he cleaned up. He still came on when Brevis was batting and he got him out. And the way he was hitting him was like, well, if anyone's going to make 100 off 30 balls here, he's going to be the man like he did in the T20s. Yeah. And he got him out, pulled out the bow and arrow, which is interesting. But if you're ever going to do it, like you back it up with 5
You do it in a dead rubber.
Well, I'd argue it should be the opposite way. You do it but he's had a little bit of a tough start to his international career. So he'd be feeling on top of the world. That's great. That similar to Cam Green, if you can throw the ball to someone who can have an impact that bats top order, it's a really good person to have in the team. So yeah, I liked how the boys got around him. He'd be feeling awesome about himself, and I'm sure he'd be looking forward to a big domestic summer. But yeah, bow and arrow. It's I think Dersma does it in footy.
Yeah.
I remember actually he did it in a footy game where they were like 10 goals down and the opposition gave it to him. So you definitely got to pick your moments with the bow and arrow. So hats off to Cooper.
Well, Green said after the match that, he also wasn't too sure in the celebration, but it was actually Cooper said it was his first 5-wicket haul ever, not just in professional cricket, ever. He's never taken 5 at any level, and he's done it against South Africa.
That's hard to believe. He's better. He's pretty good, like with his spear, especially white ball cricket. Maybe he didn't bowl himself at all. Like you think junior cricketers, most of the time, the best players are the best batters and the best bowlers in juniors.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure he would probably have been captain. Maybe it was just like, give someone else a bowl. Got 4 for, I'll give someone else a bowl. So, yeah, good on him. That's incredible. I didn't know that either. So, what a day out.
So, bow and arrow, is that going to be added to your repertoire for the upcoming season?
No, it's a young man's game. It's, that's very... it doesn't matter the circumstances, I think, for kids now. It's just, if it feels good, go with it. And I think we should applaud it, to be honest. It's better than just the old hand clap and the fist pump, isn't it?
Well, true, or the handshake as they used to do.
I don't mind the handshake, actually.
Bring that back.
Bring that back, yeah.
What are the best celebrations we've seen? I mean, we've been recapping the 2005 Ashes series. Brett Lee had the chainsaw out in that series.
Yeah.
Andrew Flintoff had that, sort of stand and jump all over me.
Yeah.
He did the statue.
That.
The Jesus arms.
Like the Redeemer. What's iconic? No one. I think the best ones are like Shaheen Afridi's is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I feel like it's in the moment. You pre-plan these things and then you get a wicket and you feel really good about yourself. And then you pull out this thing you've been practicing in front of the mirror and it looks terrible. So it's like, it has to be authentic.
Spur of the moment.
And I've blanked to think of anyone that has a really good one. But I think, the chainsaw. Yeah. I remember doing that in the backyard.
Yeah. Never pulled it out in the game?
Oh, I would have been like under 15 in Darwin, feeling like an absolute hero when I had three for, but no, not a professional.
He was a good celebrator.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it probably needs more. But guys are pretty subdued these days, aren't they? Well, most part.
Yeah.
Maybe it's on the next generation coming through to revive.
All right. So good stuff, Cooper. Starting something. Now you asked me about the best or how good it was to watch the hitting in this third ODI. I actually reckon the most impressive stuff was from Brevis. We've spoken about him in a couple of episodes now, but just the way that he was able to strike, particularly off Adam Zampa, and then also some really big hits off Xavier Bartlett. It was really breathtaking, just how cleanly and how far this guy hits the ball. I know that he's obviously been highly regarded, and he's got lots of people saying how good he's going to be. But when I could see it in person, you just know that he's a special talent.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things you can tell on TV as well. Like when someone's hitting him, the two off Bartlett, the way he hit those and just the trajectory of the ball, I think it went onto that ground at the back and the kid tried to steal the ball.
That was
got caught on camera. But yeah, just the noise off the bat, almost his mannerism as well when he hits it, because it looks effortless.
It does.
He puts no...
Yeah. But it goes further than anyone else.
Further than anyone else, but he also stays so still after he hits the ball. So, yeah, it just looks like it's a different beast altogether. So, whilst they would be disappointed to lose the T20 series, bounce back in the ODIs, I think the massive game for South Africa has been his rise to international level, and now they've got this kid who could carry him for the next 10 years in international cricket. Will that translate to red ball? Let's see. That's probably the exciting thing, is how good can this guy be? So, and I definitely felt for the guys the other night, when you get 4 early and he comes in at 6, you're like, oh God. And he's got nothing to lose whatsoever. Yeah. And you've got, you just like Zamps' case, he's tossing them up, goes for 17 on the first over. Like that could go pear-shaped pretty quick. Yeah. So it would have been nice to watch more, but I'm sure the guys out there in the middle were happy to see the back of him for 40 odd. So yeah, incredible hitting.
Definitely. Marnus Lampashade didn't get any runs in this series, and he was slid down the order, as well as Australia looked to really push on after that 250-run opening stand. It feels like it's a good time for him to get back to the Shield, and I feel like once he does, he's going to make runs at Sheffield Shield level, isn't he? And just get that confidence back.
Yeah, the domestic season is probably as important for him as anyone else, just purely for him to, I would say, get confidence back, but I'm not sure that's the word, because I'm not sure he's ever short of.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you speak to him, whether, I think he's always feeling like he's in good touch. So I think it's more just, playing a really important role. He's captain of Queensland. So, I think it's come at a really good time for him to go back to state cricket and show everyone how good he is. And like you said, he'll be a class above in that competition. So, it's really on him to show it. And I've no doubt he's got more international cricket in him. Like it's not as if he's super old either. It's just more a circumstance the other night. He's still, that catch he took in the field, like he's doing so many things right. He's still got that bow to his arrow.
String.
String. Yeah, with the ball in the field. So that's pretty good. So there's enough there to work with. It's not as if the door will be shut. He's just got to get back to making big runs.
He sure does. Lance Morris, unfortunately, he was meant to take part in this ODI series, but he was rubbed out with a sore back, and it's now been found out that he needs to have surgery to replace or to fix his spine. It's a similar procedure to what Cameron Green went through about this time last year. So it's going to be a long layoff for Lance, about 12 months on the sidelines. Good luck to him. Hope it all goes well. And we just want to see him back in action because at his best, he's one of the most exciting quicks in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been nice to have him around for some of these games. So, lengthy layoff, but it's something that has been a popular decision for guys probably in the last few years. I think James Pattinson was one of the first, and then, Ben Dwarshus, Jason Behrendorff. So there's Cam Green, as you said, there's guys to lean on with this. And I remember having similar injuries like this when I was a kid, and this wasn't an option. So it's nice to have that option, and it sounds as if guys come back even stronger. So he should be really excited about, first of all, getting this done, but also coming back and never having to worry about those problems again.
So what happened for you when you were in a similar situation? Was it purely rest?
Purely rest, yeah. And I was a lot younger, and it was teenage years, which is quite common to have, pars defects and stress fractures in the back when you're a kid. But when it starts to happen in your late 20s or mid 20s, that's when you have got a decision to make, because you also don't want to waste a couple of months and then all of a sudden come back and you're still in the same position you were 2 months ago. So it's proactive. We're seeing, Jai Richardson has been proactive with his shoulder. So you almost sacrifice a small amount of time now to get more years in the back end of your career. So hopefully it's success for him as it is for all those other names, and he's back, and who knows, it could make him faster.
Wow, that would be exciting. And we always hear about the fast bowling cartel and how quicks love to stick together. Will the fast bowling community rally around him? Is that something that happens when news like this breaks?
Well, I'm sure that especially the guys who we just said have had this surgery, like anytime you're going under the knife, it's not ideal. But I think, and I don't know if he has, but I'm sure he's spoken to, Cam Green's probably one of his good friends who's done it. Jason Behrendorff's a state teammate. So I'm sure he's spoken to those guys and before making that decision. So, no doubt he'll have people around him, and he'll be in good hands, and he'll be back before we know it, and arguably in that next crop of Australian quicks that would take over once the big guys decide to hang him up.
Yeah, maybe he's just timed that really well, actually.
Could be good timing.
Good luck, Lance. Hope it all goes well. Now, Cheteshwar Pujara has announced his retirement from Indian cricket. He hasn't played Test cricket for a couple of years, but he's now officially putting a line through his time. Obviously, a pretty big nemesis of Australia throughout his career, including massive performances in the 2018-19 Border Gavaskar Trophy and the 2021 victory as well, which they won on Australian soil. In fact, I found some stats from his career, not just his 103 tests and 7,000 runs, but in those Sydney and Brisbane tests of the 2021 series, he faced 686 balls in 4 innings, only scored 208 runs at a strike rate of 30, but it was those almost 700 balls that sort of helped India firstly draw that Sydney test from nowhere and then set up that Brisbane test, which Rishabh Pant put the finishing touches on. He has been a giant of Indian cricket.
Yeah, amazing career. And like you said, he was the thorn in Australia's side for so long, wasn't he? And the thing that I think you look back on, and when he's spoken about that people reflect on, is how he did it in his own way. And that is so, like we just talked about how the Aussies just played that last ODI. This is a man who has not put his feet in that water at all. He's just stayed to his process and the way he wants to play Test cricket. And he's almost the perfect foil to so many of those giants around him in that batting order. So I would say that those guys will reflect on him retiring and be like, wow, that guy was great to play with because he made our job so much easier. And same for the Aussies bowling team. It'd be like, thank God he's not playing anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine, day one you lose the toss and you're bowling on a flatty and Pujara walks out on a hot day. Like that's as hard as it would get. Amazing player. I actually remember playing him in the IPL. He had a really small IPL career, but he opened the batting one year for Punjab at Sharjah, and he anchored them to a win. He made 40 off like 45. And it took a Maxwell masterclass to get him over the line. But he tried to play short form cricket, but I think his strength was just obviously what he was in the test format. So that's as close as what I got to bowling to Pujara. No, I got a good taste of it that day. Couldn't get through him.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I reckon it's great that there's still room for these type of batters in Test cricket and potentially T20 cricket as well. Because when I played, and I didn't play at a very high level, but my best shot was the block. I didn't have many shots around the field. So it gives me, it would have given me a lot of confidence and a lot of joy to see somebody who can just nudge and nurdle the ball around, and you don't have to hit sixes all the time.
Well, definitely not in long format cricket. Everyone wants to play every format now, and there's no problems with upskilling and trying to get as good as you can across all three formats. But there is a beauty and a romance in someone who does it this old school way. And whilst it may not be the best for people in the stands and broadcasters, I think there's definitely a role for it. Like Test cricket's, it's not gotten any shorter. It's still 5 days. Yep. So like we said, if there's a role to play for someone like that, they make everyone around them better. The opposition hates playing against them. Like, hats off. So yeah, great career, Pujara. Enjoy a well-earned feet up.
I am not sure his IPL highlights will get too many Google searches. Or
that's why I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah. Well done, Cheteshwar. Amazing career. And Australia's women's cricket team are going to be heading to India next month for the Women's World Cup. There have been some controversy over the past couple of days with about half a dozen fixtures getting changed on the eve of the tournament. Bengaluru is now out due to some safety concerns around that facility. So hopefully you didn't have tickets that have now been completely changed, because it's a big country to get around if you have to move from, say, Mumbai to Guwahati or somewhere like that. So that's a bit of a shame. None of Australia's matches have been affected, though, thankfully, which is good signs. Belinda Clark, she has been inducted into the Australian Sport Hall of Fame, Richo. Only 5 other cricketers before her have been given that honour. Bradman, Keith Miller, Richie Benaud, Dennis Lilly and Shane Warne. So a huge honour for one of Australia's probably greatest ever women's cricketers.
Yeah, to be mentioned in those names, that's a who's who, really, of Australian cricket. She was going to be my weekly winner, but then I couldn't go over you. But yeah, Belinda, sorry.
Oh, God.
You were a worthy winner. I just had to think of something different, but incredible achievement to be. Yeah, was it something to be, they're remembered in Aussie folklore. That's like kind of the catchphrase that goes with that achievement.
Oh, okay.
So, what more needs to be said? I mean, I remember Belinda being around the academy back in the early days. Terrific woman. Yeah, well-deserved achievement. She's, almost a pioneer and trailblazer in women's cricket. So, definitely. Yeah, amazing to see some recognition go her way.
She's got the most runs still by an Australian woman, even though she retired 2 decades ago. Her highest score in one-day international cricket was 229, not out, against Denmark in 1997. It was the first double century in 50-over cricket by man or woman. We've actually done a special podcast on that innings and that tournament over on the Stories After Stumps podcast. So give that a little search in your podcast feed if you want to hear more about what was a history-making day for Australia and for Clark. And an average of 45, over 45 in both tests and one days. So just a star with leadership and also with the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, deserved recognition. She's got statues, hasn't she? She's got a statue.
Does.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
at the SCG, I believe. Yep.
So she's decent.
That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah, you just rattled the on-field stats, but when you got a statue and then you get an award of this magnitude, and be mentioned amongst the greats of Australian cricket, no more needs to be said. Just enjoy that.
Actually, that reminds me, on the last episode, you asked me if I could find the skate park dedicated to you in Mackay.
Didn't find it?
I didn't find it, but I did find the main shopping centre in Mackay. Do you know what it's called?
No.
It's called Kane Land. So there you go. Maybe you have left an impression on
I spent all my allowance there, I think, during that trip, all my match payments.
Now, the Australia A women, they chased down 281 to defeat India A in a really impressive performance at Allan Border Field. They did it easily, actually. Rachel Treneman, Tali Wilson, Maddie Dark and Annika Leroy did the bulk of the scoring in the 4th innings. But it was set up thanks to a first innings century to Sianna Ginger, Richo, 103 after coming in at 5 for 108. Still 200 runs behind. It was a very impressive knock by the young Queenslander, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. When I saw that, the first thing I thought of was your breakout. So big tick. Grab that pen.
Yep, there we go.
I think you've already ticked her off anyway, maybe a couple of weeks ago. So great game. I saw some footage of it. It looked hard work early. I saw one of Georgia Presswidge's early dismissals back through the gate. So good going. Some great performances. How many of those girls do you reckon will head to the World Cup? How many?
Well, probably not a lot of that 4-day team. Yeah. They're pretty much locked in, I reckon, the Aussies. They know they're 15 that they want to take. Yep. Healy's obviously passed with flying colours after making some runs in the 50 over stuff. So probably not a lot, but I mean, these are the genuine next
Maybe
generation.
a few on standby.
Yes, definitely. You can take a travelling reserve or two, can't you?
There you go. I reckon you'll be on the phone to the Aussie selectors suggesting one name in particular. So, yeah, never a bad time, as we've spoken about with all this cricket in this time of the year, to be performing, because World Cups are long, injuries happen. If you're in form, you're in. So, and if not, springboard into domestic season, which kicks off for everyone, male and female around the country soon. So some great performances.
And especially when you do it for the A's. I mean, that's just gives you another tick for the national selectors, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
They really look upon that with a lot of regard.
Well, that's the point of it as well, isn't it? That's your next crop, your next best. So, if you're doing it against international opposition, it's something for the selectors to really hold on to. So, all those girls should be happy with their work.
As you mentioned, Georgia Prestwich, a famous name in Queensland cricket. She took 3 wickets in each innings. She was a bit of a surprise, I reckon. She was a late call-up to this squad, but she took the new ball, took a few wickets in each innings, so that's good signs. Maitland Brown, she's bowling fast as she ever has, according to her, which is good as well. She's had some injuries to deal with, but back and bowling fast, which is exciting. And then Amy Edgar, who, bit of an all-rounder from WA, does everything, but she took 5 for with her spin in the second innings. So another great performance from her to put her name up in lights as well.
Absolutely. And to get the opportunity to play red ball cricket as well. I'm not sure. They don't get a massive opportunity, do they? So, I mean, Georgia Prestwich is probably more known for her white ball stuff, but again, another opportunity to get better as a cricketer and bowl for, consecutive days. So, that's great for everyone's development and some great performances, as I said, for, the World Cup coming up and this next group to put pressure on the big dogs.
Well, speaking of big dogs, that's a great segue to the 100 competition. Meg Lanning is still dominating over there. She's the leading run scorer in the women's competition. And the Southern Brave, well, they're undefeated and they're going to host the final. Wait, do you host the final in the 100 or do you just qualify for that? I
think it's London. I reckon it's always at Lords. Yeah, I think you host, if you finish second, you host the eliminator maybe. I could be wrong. It may change every year. It may be one of those situations.
Well, there's no Aussie women in the Southern Brave, so if they don't win, we won't be too disappointed.
Well, let's hope they don't then.
But on the men's side of things, we've also had some exciting performances. Jason Behrendorf and Riley Meredith both have taken 10 wickets, and they've been doing some great stuff, but it's the Oval Invincibles again. I think they're looking for their 3rd consecutive title. They're currently sitting atop that table as well. So going to be hard to knock them off a 3-peat, I reckon.
Yeah, they're looking formidable. And we spoke about it last week, but their team is basically international standard. Rashid Khan I thought he was having a tough competition. I looked at the stats this morning and he's averaging 10 with the ball and they're going at about 8 and over. So he's not struggling at all. So, they look formidable. Riley Meredith, give him a shout out. 10 wickets in 5 games. Economy of under 7, which is in 100 ball formats.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive on its own, let alone averaging 11 with the ball. So I'd like to see him start pushing for some international selection. I think there's a big future for him still. I know he's been around a long time, but I reckon he'll start to get better and stay on the park. So he's one to, maybe I can add him to my breakouts.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe there should be a new category, like second breakout.
Well, Australia have a T20 series to New Zealand at the start of October. Now, that's getting pretty close to the Ashes, so maybe some of the bigger names won't play. Is there an opportunity for Riley to come in and return to the Aussie setup? He's played a few T20s already for Australia.
No, he has, and that's why I say it's not really a breakout if they play for Australia and been around for 10 years. But that skill set, it's not, Lance Morris is out for a year. All of a sudden, who else bowls 150 Ks an hour? Riley Meredith does. He dominated for the Canes last year. We're talking T20 specifically. So I reckon anytime you can have him around the mark for a World Cup coming up, be too hard as a selector to ignore, I reckon. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with those quicks going into the Ashes, because I know Mitch Starc rested this white ball series. They probably want to get him maybe back, I don't know, maybe back around the team. So maybe there's not too many positions, but it'd be nice to see him around.
There is, of course, 3 ODIs and 5 T20s against India in Australia after that New Zealand tour. So still lots of white ball cricket before the Ashes. And in terms of other pace bowlers who are doing well, Megan Shute, as we also look ahead to that ODI World Cup, well, she has been taking lots of wickets for Elise Perry's Birmingham Phoenix, I think.
Yep, my old team.
So doing well there. Some great signs of Perry, of course, scoring runs as she always does. And all those Aussies just seem to be ticking the boxes that they need to do ahead of a big World Cup.
Absolutely. That's all we look for in the stats, don't we? Where's the Aussie? It should almost be colour-coded.
It should be, yeah.
So Crick Info, if you could sort that out. But yeah, I mean, Shooter doing Shooter things. She's done it forever. So everyone's in good form going to that World Cup.
Not many players swing the ball more than Shooter.
Nah.
How does she do it?
Good question. We have to get her on. I remember actually in SA, gym sessions occasionally would overlap and I'd be like, just, what are you doing? Like, is she on a piece of equipment? Just like, because in swingers as well. And that was
your thing?
My thing. And I was like, she's swinging them a lot more than I am. What is she doing? But no, she wasn't doing anything with her wrist. She was just
that good?
Yeah, just that good. Just ability and talent and work ethic and yeah.
All right. We'll put her on the list. She'd be a good one to chat to. Yep. We can get real technical.
Swing king.
Swing
queen.
We had Nathan Ellis describing how to bowl knuckleballs and back of the handers a few weeks ago. So we can just make this a
masterclass,
fast bowling masterclass podcast if we want.
Yep, absolutely.
What are you going to contribute?
I don't know. Nothing, obviously. Weekly winners.
Richo, good stuff. I think that's all we've got for this episode. The One Day Cup, as we touched on, that starts on September 16th. The Women's National Cricket League starts on September 25. So just a couple of weeks to wait until that. But before then, it's just a bit of 100 and a bit of World Cup prep. So we'll be back next week for another episode. But unless you've got anything to sign us off with?
No question for me this week. You say, what do I bring? Well, no one asked me any questions around here, so.
No question for you this week, but next week, stay tuned because I've got something very special in the works. So
I'm going to sleep. Nervous.
Thanks, mate. We'll catch you next week.
Great pod. Thanks, Josh.